Good evening. Welcome back to session 2. This is the magic of Metta, Lovingkindness Meditation. Now, a couple housekeeping things as we get started. The recording of this video will be posted. I think YouTube takes like 24 hours to process it. And so if you know anybody who missed it, you can see it on our Root Natural Health page at YouTube. And you can see that for the rest of the week until the next session. Also, session 3, I put in the chat here so that you're welcome to copy and paste that. And for session 3 next week, you can find session 3 on our Facebook page at Root Natural Health. There's the event there. And also, if you're on the Root Natural Health mailing list, email list, you'll be getting a reminder email as well. So there's redundant ways to find the sessions, and you can pass those on to your friends as well. So as we get started, who was not able to make it to the last session? Right. For those of you who were here, how did the practice go this last week? What came up for you? You can go ahead and just type those into the chat. Crickets. Weren't here last week, okay. Again, you can find session 1 on our Facebook page, or again at the Root Natural Health YouTube page. It's archived there. So I wouldn't be surprised if some resistance came up with the practice. You know, we specifically started with loving kindness toward oneself and toward a benefactor. And, you know, treating ourselves with kindness can be one of the most difficult things that we can actually do. You know, there's things that may go on in our head that we would never say out loud to another person. And so that's why throughout this practice, we're going to focus on directing loving kindness in our meditation to different people, but always starting with ourselves. And the resistance with that comes in a lot of different forms. And one way that we can resist is finding like the most extreme example of something, or that we can use to try to, and when anything kind of challenges our current view of things and makes us kind of question how we do things or how we relate to things, resistance can come up. But the good news is that this is, you know, I use words like cultivate and things like that this is something that kind of is tended to and over time really starts to blossom. As a reminder that these things are skills. We talked a little bit about some of the research in meditation last time, as well as some of the research particularly for loving kindness meditation. And some of the research in psychology over the last 20, 30 years has been really, really important because it's really changed how we think about us as learners and how we relate in the world. We used to think that we had these kind of fixed traits, and you were kind of born lucky if you were, if you were compassionate or things like that. But all of this research is showing that these are things that can be trained over time, and they get kind of lumped in with another area of great importance in our life, and that's termed emotional regulation. And so when we see, I mentioned specifically fear in the title to the course, because this practice was actually initially prescribed specifically for fear. And, when we think about it logically, what we're doing with this practice is we're creating links between ourself and every other person in the world, essentially, starting with ourself and linking it to people that we know, people that we don't know, people that we may have some difficulty with, and then all beings. And I know I was talking with a friend earlier this week, and she was saying specifically that this is a practice she does frequently when she has anxiety, and she really finds it beneficial. So these are things that there's tools here that we can learn to regulate our emotions. Check our time. We're at 5:50. Again, we're doing really bite-sized pieces here to make sure that we're reinforcing the practice and then doing the practice together, and then you can take it back to your life and you can share it, because these things are best done with practice again and again, and patience. That's how we're really going to grow these feelings for us and the skill of loving kindness. In this week's homework, we're going to focus on, we're going to move from the benefactor, which feels really good, and hopefully you didn't have a hard time thinking of different people in your life that were friends and benefactors and people that are easy to wish well toward. We're going to move more toward a neutral person. And sometimes the practice refers to this as a stranger. And so these are people that we might see in our life, but we don't really know many things about them. And we don't have particularly strong feelings either way. That may be a neighbor or maybe somebody that we work with, and we just see in passing. Or again, at this point in time, the grocery store, there's so many faces there, even in a relatively small town. We don't know many of the people. And so this is an opportunity for us to direct our loving kindness to them. And that gets to a bigger area of our life, which is all of the neutral time in our life. Have you noticed how much of our life is spent kind of waiting for something good enough to happen that comes along and bathes us in all of these sensual pleasures and things like that? And there's another big part of our life that is just waiting for something that's like agitating enough to get us all inflamed and distraught, whatever a Facebook post or something like that. And you see that, and all of a sudden you're enlivened again, but you're all agitated and things like that. And we're pretty much asleep through 90% of our day until something pulls us in one of those two directions. So this is an area that we can kind of enter that neutral and say, oh, things right now, I'm noticing that things are not particularly pleasant or unpleasant, and I'm okay with having a neutral experience. So that's one area where directing loving kindness to strangers can help to, again, broaden our awareness. And with this practice, we don't need to make ourselves feel any particular way. There's an inherent generosity of spirit that we have. And as we tap into that, our ability to remember it and our ability to sense it and act from it grows. And so that's something that we're going to be encouraging in sessions 3 and 4 as well. We want to extend the practice too from this sitting practice too, because ultimately where the rubber meets the road is that we're getting up off of the cushion or the couch or the bed or whatever it is we're doing, and the other 23 and a half hours of the day we're interacting with people, we're doing our job, we're raising families, all of these things. So one of the things that helps to bring this into our everyday life is doing the loving kindness. You can do walking meditation with loving kindness. You can do, I don't recommend doing meditation in the car if you're driving, but I always have a tape playing in my head. So, and this is what I gather is the experience for most people. And it tends to be pretty mundane, repetitive, mostly negative. And so in the car, I'm not meditating, but frequently I just change the station to this tape so it's kind of going in the background. Or another example is if I'm driving on the interstate to the office and I get cut off, or there's somebody that's driving 50 miles an hour in the left-hand lane on the interstate. These are times where I can become aware of what the response inside is, the reaction inside is, acknowledge the emotion, and redirect that to something like loving kindness practice. And this is a really powerful skill that really ties into the greater mindfulness practice, where we are aware of our experience and we can regulate how we respond as opposed to reacting. So, having said that, let's move on to the practice for this week. I'm going to get a drink because my throat got pretty dry last week. So, if you're not already sitting in a comfortable position, you can allow your body to come to rest. You can close your eyes. And you can take a breath. And to start, become aware of that sense of yourself that kind of lives behind your eyes usually. That sense of a mini me or a doer that kind of lives in there and drives this ship. Whatever sense and awareness you have of that thing. And then on the next exhale, just allow that awareness to move down from your head, through your throat, down into your chest, and just rest it there near the heart. And over the next few breaths, just notice what is here now when your awareness looks out from that area. You might feel a tenderness. You might feel a subtle sense of happiness or warmth. From that, we're going to direct loving kindness starting with ourselves. May I be free from suffering. May I be happy. May I live with ease. Again, you can just let these phrases kind of ripple through you and like a pebble into a pond and see what happens. Sincerity and curiosity are two of the most important qualities in any meditation. May I be free of suffering. May I be happy. May I live with ease. Next, bring to mind someone that it's easy to feel positive feelings toward. And this could be a mentor, someone who helped you out, could be a loved one, could be living or deceased. Just anyone that, when you think about them, a smile can easily come to your face. With them in mind, we direct our loving kindness toward them. May you be free of suffering. May you be happy. May you live with ease. May you be free of suffering. May you be happy. May you live with ease. Now bringing to mind a neutral person or stranger. May you be free of suffering. May you be happy. May you live with ease. May you be free of suffering. May you be happy. May you live with ease. Next, bring to mind someone that you may have some difficulty with. It could be a minor difficulty, or it could be something that's a little bit more long-standing. But just bring this person into your mind. And again, from that area, resting near the heart, directing your loving kindness as sincerely as you can. May you be free of suffering. May you be happy. May you live with ease. May you be free of suffering. May you be happy. May you live with ease. And finally, we'll direct our loving kindness to all beings. So you can picture continent or all people, or just one of those iconic pictures of the earth from space. May all beings be free of suffering. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings live with ease. Okay. And again, on the next exhale, you can slowly open your eyes. You can wiggle your toes, you can wiggle your fingers. Just kind of be aware of your state at this point in time. And recall that as you do get up from this meditation and any of your meditations, that this state and this loving kindness is always accessible to you. So we'll end the practice there for tonight. And I want to remind you again that if you're enjoying this and you see the value in it, please, I encourage you to continue the practice. That is the greatest thanks, and this is an act of kindness for yourself each time that you do that. And you can share it with a friend. I find that social support is incredibly helpful in making any long-term change. this for our benefit, whether it's for healthy movement of our body or making dietary changes. That kind of support can be really helpful. And then you can catch session 3, and I put that in the chat right at the top. You can find that as well on our Facebook page at the event site. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. So thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you then.